December 26, 2004, Sunday morning. Robert Moore was sipping his coffee while reading the Bangkok Post in his small apartment in Phuket. This quiet 65-year-old man had been working as an ordinary medical orderly at Phuket International Hospital for the past 3 years. His colleagues knew him as methodical, reliable, but distant. No one asked about his past, and he never volunteered to share that Robert's hands trembled slightly, not from age, but from memories. These hands had once held weapons in Vietnam's forests, carried wounded comrades, made life-and-death decisions. Now they only filed patient records and held elderly patients' hands, AT-758. The ground shook. The first tremor created ripples in Robert's coffee. With an experienced eye, he surveyed his surroundings, a habit from Vietnam, assessed the environment, then act. The second tremor was violent. Robert stood, his cup shattered on the floor. While panic sounds came from other apartments, Robert walked to the window, looking at the Andaman Sea. The earthquake lasted 2 minutes. Robert stood in the doorway, controlled his breathing, kept calm. Something learned years ago: panic serves no purpose. When shaking stopped, Robert turned on television. Local channels hadn't understood what happened, but BBC World Service told a different story. A 9.1 magnitude earthquake in the Indian Ocean that Robert's expression changed. This wasn't just a number. This meant disaster. His mind switched to a different mode. Vietnam had taught him major disasters lead to chain reactions. An underwater earthquake of this magnitude meant only one thing. He took out his world map, traced his finger from Sumatra's coast to Phuket, the distance and water depth. His heart accelerated, but his face remained calm. Giant waves would reach Phuket in about 2 hours. He called the hospital. The disaster management plan needs to be activated immediately. The surprised nurse responded, "Mr. Moore, it was just an earthquake. There's no major damage. A tsunami is coming. It will reach our shores within 2 hours. I'm coming to the hospital. You don't have authority to make this decision. You're just a medical orderly, I know, but I'm not wrong. Call Dr. Siriporn." The line went dead. Robert knew she thought he was just a medical orderly. This would be his smallest problem in coming hours. AT the hospital. Everything looked normal. Sunday morning quiet prevailed. Robert's urgent expression drew attention. "Mr. Moore, isn't today a holiday?" asked Nyron, the reception clerk. "I need to see Dr. Siriporn. Urgent." They called Dr. Siriporn. After a brief conversation, she said she'd be there in 20 minutes. When Dr. Siriporn arrived with hospital director Dr. Preacha, both looked disturbed about being called from home on Sunday morning. "Doctor, we must implement disaster protocol immediately. Tsunami waves will be here in about an hour and a half." Robert said to Doctor. Siriporn frowned. "Robert, you're just a medical orderly. You can't make such decisions." Dr. Preacha intervened. "This is a serious claim. If you're wrong, we'll create unnecessary panic." "I'm not wrong," Robert said without hesitation. "How can you be so sure?" Dr. Siriporn asked. "You're not a meteorology expert." Robert hesitated. He'd worked so hard to hide his identity, but now that luxury was gone. "There's something I haven't told you. I served in the American military for 27 years. 2 tours in Vietnam, Gulf War. My final rank was Master Sergeant. I was trained in disaster management and crisis response." Heavy silence. The doctors were reassessing the man before them. "If this is true, why didn't you tell us before?" Dr. Preacha asked suspiciously. "Because I was running from war. But now war has found me." Robert spread his map on the table. The earthquake occurred 160 kilometers west of Sumatra, magnitude 9.1. From here to Phuket is 500 kilometers. Tsunami speed is 800 kilometers per hour. They'll be here in 40 minutes. A nurse appeared. "Doctors, there's breaking news on television." They rushed to the corridor TV. BBC was reporting large waves hitting Sri Lanka's coast. Robert looked at the doctors. "It's no longer theoretical. This is Sri Lanka. Very far from us, Dr. Siriporn said hesitantly. Doctor, tsunami spreads like ripples. If Sri Lanka was hit, we're next. What do you want us to do? Dr. Preacher asked. Robert opened his notebook. Pages filled with handwritten notes carried for years. First, discharge all elective cases. Maximize bed capacity. Second, check blood bank. Make urgent donation calls. Third, call operating teams for 24-hour shifts. If you're wrong, Dr. Preacher started. If I'm right, and we don't act, this hospital becomes a graveyard. Robert's voice almost became a shout. These words changed everything. Dr. Siriporn saw determination in Robert's eyes. Okay, the responsibility is yours. What do we do? Robert immediately sprang into action. His military training was returning. Call all department heads for emergency meeting. Cut media communication. Check medical supplies, trauma surgery materials, antibiotics, test generators. Prepare backup communications. When department heads gathered, Robert faced them. They all knew him, but none expected such authority. Why are you in this meeting? These are doctor-level discussions, Dr. Somchai said suspiciously. Because I received training in these matters. I served 27 years in the American military. Murmurs rose. No one expected this. Robert spread the map. A 9.1 earthquake along a 1,600-kilometer fault line. When water masses move, resulting waves spread at 800 kilometers per hour. In shallow water, they can rise to 15 meters. When will they be here? Dr. Somchai asked. In 45 minutes. Silence. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize for wasting one day's resources. If I'm right, and we don't prepare, most people in this room will be counting the dead tonight. At 10:15, first reports came from Kata Beach. Breaking news on television, Nyren shouted. Everyone rushed to TV. Local news showed shaking camera footage. Giant waves hitting Kata Beach. Hotels underwater, people screaming and running. Robert turned to doctors. No triumph in his face, just cold determination. Discussion time is over. The war has begun. Is this real? Dr. Siriporn asked, mouth open. Kata Beach is 20 kilometers from us. Wounded will arrive in 15 to 20 minutes. Robert sees a shock moment. Everyone to positions. Emergency room staff prepare triage. Operating teams stand ready. Blood bank make urgent calls. Staff began taking action. The quiet medical orderly was now commanding like a natural leader. The first ambulance arrived at 10:37. Robert ran to the emergency door. The scene took him back years. Not enemy fire this time, but nature's wrath creating these wounds. First stretcher, 8-year-old English boy. Open leg fracture, screaming. Mother running alongside, bleeding from her head. Please save my boy. Second stretcher, elderly Japanese couple. Couldn't breathe from swallowing seawater, lungs aching. Third stretcher, Thai fisherman, deep chest cut, gurgling breathing, consciousness blurred. Robert moved to triage. Vietnam habits returned. He evaluated each wounded person within seconds. Child to operating room. Leg fracture emergency. Dr. Somchai handled it. Woman to radiology. Suspected skull fracture. Couple to respiratory unit. Water in lungs. Each decision made in seconds, backed by decades of experience. Hospital staff were amazed at Robert's transformation. The medical orderly was now deciding like an experienced trauma surgeon. Too many patients. We can't keep up. Dr. Nyren said. How many more coming? All coastal hotels are being evacuated. Robert calculated quickly. Hundreds of hotels, peak tourist season. We need to triple hospital capacity. Impossible. Nothing is impossible. Turn corridors into hospital rooms. Make conference hall an operating room. Use children's area as pediatric emergency. Who will approve these? I approve them. Responsibility is mine. When the second wave arrived, Robert had established perfect command center in the lobby. Old habits returned: radio coordination, team assignments, resource distribution. Nurse Ploy set up first triage in corridor. Dr. Wan Chai, trauma surgery team ready. 2 operating rooms continuously active. Security, organized hospital entrance. Media and crowd problems coming. Staff, instead of questioning his sudden leadership, began trusting him instinctively. You're creating miracles. How do you know so much organization? Dr. Preacha asked. Most important battlefield lesson: creating order within chaos. Everything depends on planning and quick decisions. By midday, situation worsened. Ambulances came continuously. Robert worked nonstop in triage, evaluating each case within seconds. German girl paralyzed from neck down. English man with metal in chest. Thai woman with shattered leg. German girl to neurology. Spinal injury. English man to operating room. Chest trauma. Thai woman wait. Handle others first. This last decision broke Robert's heart. But this was triage reality. Whom you can save, whom you cannot. At 2 p.m., Robert faced the most difficult situation. 5 severely wounded arrived simultaneously, but operating capacity was only for 3. This was real triage meaning. The most painful Vietnam lesson: .5 wounded. German tourist with chest trauma. Thai mother with internal bleeding. English man with head trauma. Japanese girl with artery tear. Australian woman with multiple organ injuries. Robert examined each patient. Heart rate, breathing, consciousness, wound severity. Decision within seconds. Patient 1 to operating room. Chest 2 can save him. Patient 2 to second room. Can stop internal bleeding. Patient 4, the third room, can repair artery. He shook his head for the English man and Australian woman. Too late. Can't we save the other 2? Dr. Nyron asked, amazed. If we try both, we'll lose all 5. We can save 3. This decision wounded Robert's soul. But Vietnam taught him, sometimes to save lives, you must allow death. Evening hours, first wave treated. Robert collapsed in lobby chair. 14 hours nonstop, only water breaks. You should rest. Nurse Ploy said. You rest when war is over. This isn't over yet. Were you really military? Robert smiled. First sincere smile in 3 years. For 27 years. But 3 years here are worth those 27. This place gave me peace. Now I owe this place peace too. On the second day, international media heard Robert's story. CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera wanted a mysterious medical orderly story that CNN correspondent Sarah Chun interviewed Robert. How were you able to show such leadership? Robert looked at the Andaman Sea. During military years, I was trained to kill. Here, I use that training to save lives. Maybe this was my real purpose. On the third day, situation returned to normal. Most wounded became stable, death toll lower than expected. Walking through corridors, Robert saw grateful eyes everywhere. Would you like to officially become disaster coordinator? Dr. Siraporn asked. I'm still the same person, just a medical orderly. No, you're not anymore. You're this hospital's heart. Okay, but one condition. Never forget real heroes are doctors, nurses, all staff. I just organized. On the fourth day, Robert officially became disaster coordinator. His first job was reporting what happened. I in the report. 284 wounded treated. 23 people lost their lives. Under normal circumstances, this could have been much higher. Success due to early warning and rapid organization. On the fifth day, Robert noticed change within himself. For the first time since Vietnam, he respected himself. There's great change in you. You look more peaceful, Nurse Ploy said. I think the moment I've been waiting for came. Making peace with my past. Every life I saved was a memory of friends I lost in Vietnam. For the first time, I want to live Not just live, but live a life worth living. A month later, first students came to the center Robert established. In his first lesson, disaster medicine isn't just technical knowledge. This is learning behavior in humanity's most difficult moments. Most important thing, panic serves no purpose. 2 years later, Robert at 67 was living truly peaceful life. His greatest happiness was seeing trained student success. One working in Myanmar earthquake zones, another establishing tsunami warning in Indonesia. Did you ever regret it? Think about returning to America? Dr. Siraporn asked. No, I belong here now. In America, there was military Robert Moore. Here there is human Robert. What's the difference? Military Robert brought death. Human Robert brings life. Robert Moore passed away peacefully at age 75 in 2014. Thousands attended his funeral. A statue was erected at hospital entrance. Robert Moore, 1939 to 2014. Silent hero, the man who transformed from warrior to healer today. Robert's disaster management system is applied in all Thai hospitals. His protocols are UNESCO international standards. Robert's story shows how one man can touch thousands of lives. Real power is using strength for others. Real heroism is unshowy service. Real success is a mark you leave behind. And most importantly, it's never too late to change. Robert Moore's spirit lives today in that Phuket hospital, in disaster zones worldwide, in healthcare workers' hearts rushing to help. Because some people don't die. They become immortal through the good they do.